Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my channel. It is time for the end of year WIP-parade. I will show you all my WIPs, the ones that I've been working on, and I will bring them all with me into 2026. I have plans for next year. I am not going to go into details about those plans in this video, I think. I will probably be talking more about that in the next one. But I will have to mention, because in front of me I have all my HADEs. And HADEs, that is just short for Heaven and Earth Design. I have a lot of them, well, a lot of them. I have a few of them that I stitch on because I do love the full coverage. I love their charting. And I do stitch them all on a 25 count. 1/1 full cross, all of them. It is my favorite way to stitch, and these are some of my favorite WIPs. But I have not been picking these back up, so the only thing I'm going to say about my plans for 2026 is that is why I'm whipping down. And I mentioned this also, of course, in my other Flosstubes from this year, that for me I have about 40 WIPs. I have 3 finishes this year, but that is a little bit too much for me. With the type of projects that I have and with the amount of time I would prefer to spend on them, 40 WIPs or more, it's too much. And I knew that because last year, 2024, I think, was the year of new starts. I did start a lot of projects last year. And I was aware already then that that might be too much. But when you're on a journey, a stitching journey, you have to try stuff out. And I think it was a good thing starting all of these projects. But I also learned now that, yeah, I think that around 30 is more my style. It suits my stitching styles and my, what shall I say, stitching whims. So that is my goal for next year. So it means that I have not been putting in a lot of stitches on my HADEs. Regrettably, I'm actually really so sad about that. So some of them, not much progress at all. I did spend 1 month stitching on just HADEs, and I will probably do that next year too. But so when you see some of these, I mean, some of you may have been following me for a while, and you might expect a lot of progress on some of these projects, and there will be very little, I'm afraid. And that will change in the future. But I will show you what I have for now, and like I said, what it will look like when I bring these in to the next year's stitching. I will start with, well, I can start with this because I've already have it out. This is the fitting. It is by an artist called Victor Schramm, charted by Heaven and Earth Design. And I started this June 7th in 2022. And like I said, all of the HADEs, 25 count, 1/1 full cross. And this is my progress. And as you can see, not that much. Here I have tried a little bit of a different method, doing it by square. And I think, well, it did make sense to me when I started it, but I am moving more into my diagonal. I do like my diagonals, especially since I started doing the diagonals over 4 squares, because that actually gives me a lot of time to do both cross-country and also parking. I tend to switch between the two, or as you can see in the SAL, the steampunk portal, I will show you that later, you will see as a combination, it is really appealing to me more and more. So this will, as you can see, I've already started. This will move into a diagonal, and then I will stop doing these squares on this project. I will tell you, hang on, I have completed, what is that, 29,109 stitches on this, which is not bad. I mean, 29,000 stitches is, you know, respectable. But in my book it is anyways. And, you know, I just wish I spent more time on it, but yeah. But I'm sort of playing, what do they call it? I'm playing the long game here. So like the whip down and all of that will make it in the future so that I can spend more time on my heights and all of these projects that I like so much. Yeah, so anyways, let's move on from the fitting. And I think I will show you, this is not my first Heaven and Earth design, but it is my first supersized max colors. It is a Stitch in Time artwork by Amy Stewart, which is one of my favorite artists for cross stitch and puzzle. She's done some of her artwork. I do like jigsaw puzzles also, and yeah, you can find some of her artwork. I think it's Ravensburger who has that. But sorry. Anyway, that was a sidetrack. This one is started in May 19th in 2022. So again, considering that it was quite a few years already since I started it, yeah, not that much progress, but again, let me check how many stitches I put in so far. So I have put in 24,112 stitches. Again, 24,000 is 24,000 stitches that I'm proud of, and I'm really glad I started stitching on this, because this is the project that sort of really put me on my Flosstube journey and helped, well, yeah, you can say that almost helped me moving on from being a pretty much monogamous stitcher to having multiple whips. And during that journey since 2022, I have learned that over 40 whips is not for me, and over 30 probably not. I would say between, but under that, I also discovered that I do like to switch things up. So I'm thinking that between 30 and 35, no more than 35, is probably ideal. Around 30 is better than around 35, but then I also enjoy new starts. So I also don't want to not start anything until I've done with these, because, you know, yeah, because new projects is fun. It sort of can re-energize you. So hence the whip down, a slow whip down for me. Yeah, anyways, so this is stitched with DMC. The fitting is stitched with CXC, and there's a slight difference in, I would say, thickness. I think that the DMC are a little bit thinner. They're not as fluffy maybe, but they are smoother to stitch with. So I really love DMC, but I also don't mind the CXC, because CXC is the one floss that I have. I have a master set, a full set of CXC, and they are really nice to work with, and they are really, really affordable. So that is why I don't stitch more projects with DMC because it's a little bit too expensive for me, especially when you're kitting up a big project like this. But this one is totally kitted up 100% with DMC. So yeah, I am loving it because I do love DMC. Is so nice to stitch with. It really is. Yeah, but I think that the plan for this one was to stitch one shelf at a time. So I think that the shelf is somewhere, the end of the shelf is somewhere here. But since I am moving more and more into diagonal, I'm really liking the diagonal over 4 squares, and also really liking finishing the diagonal. I might actually, yeah, just I'm gonna experiment a little bit about that, how far I want to stretch the diagonal, maybe all the way down, and then eventually it's gonna cover all four shelves. So yeah, spring, summer, autumn, and winter, which means that I'm gonna have to grid. I'm gonna have to take a day or two to grid this way down if I'm to continue completing the diagonals. So yeah, something to consider anyways. So that was a Stitch in Time by Amy Stewart. Let me put this away quick and see what we have here next. Oh, this is another Amy Stewart. It's called Sister Moon. A lot of 310s. But also not only 310s. There are browns and greens in here also. I don't know if you can see that on camera, and blue. But yeah, again, this is this is a 25 count, 1/1 full cross. This is CXC floss, not too big actually. So this is a potential finish within my lifetime anyways. But yeah, I wish I could, because the plan was, before I joined the SAL, the plan was to have this as a focus piece for my full coverage. But then as I joined the SAL, then that sort of, yeah, changed. So again, I think I just spent those days in April on this one. I can look up the numbers for you. I completed 6,316 stitches on this. It is beautiful, beautiful artwork. I started this July 26th in 2023. And yeah, as you can see, diagonal, a little bit of cross country. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is when I started doing like the 4 diagonals, or the 4 square over 4. Yeah, I really like having a little bit of a wider diagonal to stitch on. Like I said, as you can see, it gives me a chance to do cross country and eventually also parking, if that is what I feel like doing. So this is actually, yeah, this is a good project if you are interested in beginning a HAID, because it's not too big. Well, okay, relatively, I think everything is, yeah, okay. Well, it's not huge. So because, like I said, so this is actually one that you could finish within a couple of years or so, if you put your mind to it. Like I said, I have too much in my rotation, so I don't spend enough time on it. But if you have this as a focus piece, then yeah, you could definitely finish it. So yeah, so I could recommend that. I will show you a couple of smaller ones even coming ahead. So yeah, Sister Moon, Amy Stewart. And this is Meeting on a Turret Stairs. Again, one of the projects. I love the artwork. I so want to spend more time on it, and I just haven't. This is the supersized. It's not max colors, I think, but it's supersized. It's big. This one also, because why not? Yeah. So this is actually all that I have done. So when I got the question, have you finished it? I was like, no, I'm sorry, I have not. I am plodding away. There's a lot of background here before you move into the lady and the knight, or the god. So Meeting on the Turret Stairs. It's by Frederick William Berson. It is started on July 22nd, 2023, and it's stitch 1/1 CXC 25 count. It is, yeah. Every time I pick these up, I think maybe I should be a monogamous stitcher again, but then yeah, then I sort of get the urge to switch things up anyways. So I'm probably never going to be like a 100% monogamous stitcher ever again. But just scaling down a little bit, I think, and then really sort of be able to sink my teeth into the full coverage hate ones. Yeah, so this is all. There will be more progress, hopefully. Like I said, we'll see what happens in 2026. I think that 2027 will be the year where I can really focus on the hates. I hope, maybe already during 2026, but it's a question just on time and whatever. Ooh, a lot of crinkly sounds, sorry. This is, yeah, another favorite. This is beautiful. It is called Farewell to Anger by Leonid Aframov. Again, supersized max colors. So this is one. I started this July 29th in 2024, and this is the one that I think I said it from the beginning, but this is the one that I started just to start it. I love the artwork. It is, I'm usually not as this modern, so to speak, but there is something about his artwork that I really, really enjoy, and I had the chart, and I just wanted to start it, to have it in my rotation, because it makes me happy, instead of waiting until I have finished some of the other hates, because that would take a few years, right? So this one I sort of already knew that I wasn't gonna probably make more progress on. The plan back then was to have the Sister Moon as a focus, and once I finished the Sister Moon, then I could, maybe stitch more on the other ones. But since I did join the SAL, stuff changed. But I already knew that this is just one that I wanted to have, to start it, to have it kitted up, to have it in the rotation, and pick it up maybe once in a while, but not too much, because I do have other projects. So this one isn't as bad. I mean, it's not bad. This is a hobby. You do whatever you feel like, whatever you enjoy, and you stitch on whatever you feel like stitching on at the time. Nothing is bad, really. But but apart from that, but this one, I knew that I wasn't going to make a lot of progress on. I knew that I wasn't probably not going to put a lot of stitches on this. So this one is totally fine. I can look up the numbers for you. Yeah, so 3,099 stitches. And I don't know if it makes sense or not, but I'm not, I mean, there are some of these that I started long ago that I do feel I should be making progress on, but this one is the one that I just started for fun and just to know that I have it ready to go and already put in some stitches. I mean, the colors are insane. I love it so much, as you can see with all the blues. There's purples in here. And we've been moving into the greens, the orange and the reds. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. And at least it's gonna be amazing to stitch on, I think. Just loads of colors and a lot of fun. So, yeah, and this is also CXC thread. 1/1, 25 count. Farewell to anger. I am really happy that I started this. It is, yeah, I think it's just crazy. And I've seen other floss tubers who have made more progress on it, and it's stunning. It stitches up so beautifully. So yeah, I can't wait to see that. So let's see, I done that one, that one, that one. Okay, yeah, I have a list. I have some notes beside me here that I need to. Yeah, okay, so this is actually my oldest, my first hate, I think. And this is another one of my favorite artists. It's Jasmine Beckett Griffith, the little match girl. And the charting of this is insane. It is so beautiful with all the details. And for a beginner, this is actually a really good size to start with. I did the Grumpy Fairy one, which was even smaller. I think it was like this big. So if you are worried or nervous starting a hateful coverage, don't be. You can find smaller pieces that stitches up much faster. And to be honest, if you like the Jasmine Beckett Griffith, her artwork, these are projects that are actually kind of nice because it's a good blend between confetti. There's a lot of confetti in the hair and the eye and in the little snow flakes like these, because there's a lot more colors here than you might think. There's yellows, but also there are like at least 3 or 4 different blues in one snowflake confetti. But then you have color blocks here. This is just black or 939, so like dark blue or black. So there will be parts where you are spending a lot of time with the confetti and it's super fiddly, but there's also places, or even in her skin tone, that are more like solid block colors, which always is easier and stitch up much faster. So I can recommend. This one I started December 14th in 2020. Yeah, so this is my oldest Hade. And this is, again, a part together with a Stitch in Time also started me on my journey to Flosstube and having multiple WIPs. Because I did find myself just wanting to stitch this during winter time. So being a monogamous stitcher, then I just sort of just put it away and took a break from stitching during the summer, which was not fun. So yeah, having multiple WIPs is also a way to be able to keep on stitching even if you're not feeling a project for the season. So I'm happy. I'm happy I did begin exploring different ways of having a rotation going and all of that. And since I also do stitch on this simply during the winter month, is also why I have not made more progress. And because of the theme, the little match girl, I normally tend to stitch on this mostly in December and January, I think. So yeah, and I also have other projects that I rotate during Christmas time and all of that. So technically I don't spend that many days per year on this one. But so this will never be a focus piece. I think this will always be with my winter rotation. I have completed 62,237, which is about 41%. So making progress slowly, but still. And I enjoy having this as a WIP a lot. And on this one I did end up doing the diagonal the other way, because this is the one, this was my first height, so I did start, actually I think I stitched by row and by column in the beginning up here, and then I think I completed this whole section, as you can see here, the straight line by row. And then it sort of didn't make sense to me, and I think I just followed the pattern and the colors of the flow of the hair. That is why the diagonal is going this way, because I started doing diagonal on this one back here. So this is the only project that diagonal goes from upper left to lower right. Otherwise I do it the opposite. And I always start up here and do diagonal this way. This is the only exception. And this is also a very special project to me, so yeah. And then I started one. This is the one that I started this year for my birthday. It is called April. And it's by an artist called Anna Dietmann. She's a digital artist, and I discovered her for like, I don't know, it was so many years ago. I think it was, well, it must have been at least 10-15 years now, I don't know. And I did see, not actually through the cross-stitching community, but through the diamond painting community, because some of her artwork were licensed to a company that does not exist anymore, that did diamond paintings. And when I saw that they had her artwork at Heaven and Earth Design, I was super happy. And this is a special project, I would say, more regards to what have I been doing here? Okay, okay, so, well, you can see here. So this would be my MO. I'm a little bit surprised now that I did this in 2025, because this had probably been my MO from back in the beginning of the decade. Rows and columns like this, and then changing my mind and moving into diagonal. That seems like a typical me thing to do. I don't know if you can see that, because the colors are so light and delicate and bright, so yeah. But yeah, so this is like this, the little match goal would have been like this. Do the rows and the columns, and then, no, I want to do diagonals, and then, yeah. So in between right now. And this is special, well, only special because it is called April. I started it April 1st because that is my birthday month, not my birthday, but my birthday month is April. And I think I will only be stitching on this in April every year. And April is probably still going to be my month of hate also. Just as my birthday month, I do want to spend it stitching on my absolute favorite things, which are hates. So, yeah. So this is not that big of a project, but this will also take me a while, because if I only stitch on this in April, then yeah, again, just for fun, and it's just a mood, and just because I love Anna Dietmann and her portraits. Yeah. So if you have not, please check her out on Heaven and Earth Designs website. Has a lot of lovely stuff from her, and there are a lot of Amy Stewart and Jasmine Becker Griffith on Heaven and Earth Design, so you can definitely find it there. So my final hate will be the stitch along. That is here. Okay, so this year's Sal, Heaven and Earth Design Stitch Along 2025 Steampunk Portal by L&L Design. And yeah, this is an absolute joy for me. This is, and I've said it many times before, but this is for me the perfect blend of confetti and color blocks. You get a little bit of both. You can switch in between if you want to, but I find it that just following the diagonals here, you get like confetti. It's confetti all the way, and then down here less and less confetti, and then color blocks. Color blocks, confetti, confetti, color blocks. So I think it's a good variation. Diagonals over 4, and if you're wondering why I haven't finished the diagonals, that is just because with the Sal, there are different goals. My goal was to finish the 6 pages, and because I'm working on a diagonal, because I saw a lot of people do, like if you stitch in rows, you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. But since I stitch on a diagonal, I get the first 3 here, and then I get 2 and 1 partial, so I have to complete this one to get 6 in total. So that is why it looks like this. So going forward with this, I will just put this in my normal rotation and projects, and then I will just start completing the diagonals. So these are my hates, and they will be coming with me into 2026, all of them. And I will just see how much I can pick them up. Again, still a little bit hesitant about how to plan everything with the stitching and all of that. And I think the more I talk about it, I think, yes, I do need to make a separate video about that and sort of try to find some reason, some rhyme or reason to my thinking. Anyways, let's move on from the hates. Okay, so let's take a look at, oh dear, a couple of these I have not been stitching on a lot, and I wish I had, but again, time-wise, and also because, well, as an excuse, I have had, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, kind of a lot with work and stuff like that, and I do know that I tend to, if I'm stressed a little bit, I do tend to just gravitate to whatever projects that I have on the Q-snap, so to speak. So I'm probably not gonna dive into the WIP pile and dig projects up. I'm not going to go looking for them. I'm just going to take whatever is nearby and stitch on it. So some of these, a couple of these, yeah, I had plans, but yeah, like I said, sometimes when there's a lot of other stuff going on, you just yeah, you just want to focus on relaxing and doing a relaxing stitch. So for instance, this one, it's called a dancing potty, or I call it a dancing potty. And this is where we're at, and I think that the last time you saw it, I have not actually put in more stitches on this. This is a lovely project. I do enjoy it. I like the colors, and I mean, there's quarter stitches in here when you have to split the square or the cross stitch into 4 smaller stitches. It's not like a super annoyance to me. It's not like French knots and stuff like that, but yeah, it can be a little bit annoying, but it does give you like sharper lines when it comes to stuff like this. Yes, the back stitching helps, but since these are like quarter stitches here, you do get a sharper line when it's across one of the Ada squares. So yeah, I don't mind them. I think this is stitched on a 16 count Ada, and the higher the count, the smaller the square, and the more difficult these quarter or partial stitches sort of are. So I think if I had known how many of these there are, I might have chosen 14 count actually. But I mean, 16 is doable. It's definitely doable. It's sometimes a little bit snug, and you do have to kind of struggle a little bit with the quarter stitches, but other than that, it is totally fine. And as you can see, I stitch one section at a time. I do the back stitching before moving on to the next section. And yes, I did have plans for this, because again, when I do pick it up, I do have so much fun with it. And yeah, I had this for a potential focus piece at one point, but then I sort of, I don't know, I fell behind. I had a lot to do, so I just sort of forgot about this. Yeah, it remained in the pile. So like I said, 16 count Ada, 2 over 1 square, some quarter stitches and some back stitching. This I started August 13 in 2022. So this is a project that I enjoy picking up, but it's I don't know why I haven't returned to this. I really should, because it's a fun project. So we'll see, maybe 2026 will be the year where I at least get more than half of it done. So this is the middle of the project. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to beat myself up too much about it. Like I said before, it's a hobby, and a hobby is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to, at least for me, help me to relax and just have a good time stitching it. So yeah, sometimes you do fall behind on some of your WIPs, and yeah, I'm gonna try to be okay with that. But yeah, we'll see. It will be better in the future. Now this one though, this is another one of these infinity projects. It is super big. It's a lot of fabric going on here. I call this European Town. I do think that you can find this under different names. This is also, again, one of those lovely, lovely projects. There's a lot of fun colors, and I don't know if you like stitching houses, but then you have houses. There are greeneries, there are flowers, there's people. Yeah, it is super, super nice. And I have seen this finished, and it's stunning. It is really, really beautiful. And again, a project that I thought that I was going to bring out and at least, you know, finish this section and maybe at least start the other one, but no, this just stayed in its project bag the whole summer, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go. This is stitched on a 14 count. A little bit of back stitching, not too much though, actually. And it's yeah, it's a little bit, I feel, yeah, like I said, I shouldn't feel bad about it, but yeah, I wish I would have stitched on it a little bit more. But then there's always next year, right? Next summer, next spring, because this one I do feel this one is like a spring summer theme thingy, so I don't really feel like I will be stitching on this anytime soon, so you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer to see this in a stitch with me. But definitely I will at least once next year. But again, this is I will be talking about that more in my next video, I think, when I am trying to sort out the plans for 2026. But I'm happy that I have this in my rotation because it's super, super fun. It's really fun and it's beautiful, and I think everything looks nice stitched up. So yeah. Another project that sometimes get a little bit neglected too is the Blue Flowers Girl from Lonarte. But there's and I have talked about this before, but the reason to why this one isn't picked up more is actually the chart. I don't like how the chart is looking. It's I'm not gonna show it though. It's the charting or the chart itself is kind of pastel-y color. The lines were pale gray, and I don't know, I prefer a chart with a little bit more definition, sort of like black lines where there's lines for the grid, yeah, so that has been a bit of a struggle before I penciled in the lines, or not penciled, I drew with a, what do you call it, a fine liner. I drew in the lines on the chart, so that made it easier. It is also gridded on the charts 5 by 5, which again, not too crazy about. And I thought that I could start this project without gridding, so I did, and I made a bunch of mistakes in the beginning. So yeah, so then I ended up gridding. Yeah. But once I get this one started, once I do bring it out, I enjoy it. It's just the hurdles with the chart that sort of put me off a little bit. And even though I think most of it is sorted out, I still feel a little bit of a resistance in picking this up. But so if I would ever start another Lonarte, and if that chart also is the same as this one, then I know from the beginning how to go about it. I would probably just with a fine liner draw out 10 by 10 instead of 5 by 5. And I think that would just make it easier. It's just sometimes, you know, when you get started sort of on the wrong foot, on a project, that feeling sort of sticks with the project, even though it shouldn't be, even though the problem is solved now. But as you can see, it's actually stitching up really, really nicely. This is stitched on a 30 count linen over 2 threads, mostly 2 over 2, but sometimes 1 over 2. So you get like a color variation, like a really delicate shift, which I like. So there's 2 over 2 full crosses, 2 over 2 one thread, and 10 stitch 1 thread, and I think there's some 10 stitches with double threads too. So again, a lot of that makes it or that gives the effect of the color shifting in a very nice way, I think. So this one, I did start it October 5th in 2022. And I'm hoping now that the chart thing is resolved, that I will find it easier to pick up. Because it is really a lovely, lovely chart. So the plan is just, but I don't want to stress about it. I don't want to force myself. So I'm just, hopefully it's just gonna happen by itself. I don't know. But we'll see. It's not, I'm not gonna sort of retire it anytime at all, because like I said, when I do pick it up, I do enjoy it. I just sort of put it off a little bit. So we'll see. Hopefully I can just get it done. I am going to try to spend some time to grid the whole thing also, so I have that done, so I don't have to worry about that. And we'll see. Again, I'm not also super happy about the linen. I think if I would have restarted it, and I won't, because yeah, I'm just gonna keep going, but I think I would have picked up my own linen. It's not a bad one, it's just I don't know, it's something about the feel of it I don't like, but yeah, it's not too bad though. So we'll see where this one ends up for 2026. Not a finish, I don't think, but yeah. Anyways, on to one of my favorites then. So from Lanarte to Long Dog Samplers and Pandemic. And this one is definitely going to be a finish for 2026. This is amazing. I know I say it every time, but yeah, it is. This chart is amazing. I mean, all the details, the cute stuff, the fun stuff, the detailed stuff, the florals. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It is stunning. I think it's so beautiful. So I've changed it. These are my initials. VE. But I will keep 20 because, yeah, I will keep 2020. Why? Well, because 2020 was 2020 and we all know what 2020 was. So, so even though I'm stitching this a bit after, a few years after, I'm still gonna keep it 2020, because when this chart came out, yeah, no, definitely gonna keep it 2020. So this is stitched on an 18 count Ada with a silk floss from Mrs. Sada's on Etsy. I started this June 11th in 2022. So I was a little bit late to the game, but again, still gonna keep it 2020. just because, you know, pandemic. And as you can see, I have only the bottom part left, the bottom section. So the page is going down to somewhere here. I don't think it stretches out. Anyway, so it's not quite a full page, almost, but not quite. And this section I can definitely finish next year. Yay. And yeah, I love everything about it. And the floss is wonderful to stitch with. It is great. It is so nice. So I can highly recommend that. And if you're wondering, I did order one of these big hanks. It's like a super skein sort of thingy. And just the one. You can look at Mrs. Sada's. They do have the big ones. They don't have as many colors in the big ones, I think. But I have still this much thread left from just the one big one. So yeah, there's a lot of thread for your money. So yeah, so definitely worth it. It's a super nice silk floss. It's beautiful. Yeah, oops, some tangles. So yeah, looking forward to finish, and this might also be at one point one of my focus pieces for 2026, just to get a finish and for the whip down, but also because it is so much fun. And I think when I'm doing the sal, the Hate Sal, this will actually be a good piece to just alternate with, switching from a lot of confetti and all of that till this, when you just stitch with one color in this incredible chart is yeah. So definitely you will be seeing this a lot in 2026. And once I finish it, I just need to check my whip down list and see where I'm at. And I also have then a potential new start, a new long dog sampler, probably Death by Cross Stitch, but I'm not sure. I have several charts actually that I did buy, because once I started this, and yeah, I bought more at once because I knew that I wanted to stitch more. So we'll see. I finished for 2026 and a potential new start on a new long dog, depending on the whip down process. So yes, kits, a lot of kits. Mainly Marika. Marika is one of my favorite brands, it seems, when it comes to kits. Don't know why, but I love their shirts. I love a lot of their artwork that they choose. So yeah, I think I will start with the other ones. Though I have 2 Dimensions Gold Collection kits, and again the Dimensions have a lot of wonderful images. I kind of I have to think, yeah, I do like their charts. I don't mind them at all. They do also use quite a lot of different number of threads to create variation, color shifts, and stuff like that, and I'm not always too crazy about that. And I think the first here, it's called Kitty Litter, is a good example of that one. This is super cute. This is just, I chose it for the cuteness factor with the kittens. And again, yeah, and again, in the background, they did want you to use 5 threads, which was impossible on an 18 count Ada. It was so unpleasant to stitch when you have to pull and tug, and yeah, so I did not do that. So I think I only have 2 or 3 threads actually in the background, which then of course doesn't give you the same amount of coverage, but it's so much more pleasant to stitch with. So for me, I just, yeah, I can live with that it's not like completely compact. It doesn't give maybe the same 3D effect either, but I actually don't care about that too much. So and once I decided to do that, because I had to restart this one and adjust the number of threads, but once I did that, then yeah, it's so much more fun to work on. I think this one though, hang on, let me just check. I did start this January 18th in 2023. And yeah, I am stitching a little bit back and forth on this as it ends up, because this is like, these are blends though, but it's like a block of them. So here you get to do a lot with the same threads, which is nice. I switch back to the floor, maybe do a little bit of the basket and a little bit of the other details, and then you also of course have the kittens. So yeah, I have a tendency to jump a little bit back and forth with this, which is why I've ended up with the park threads here in the middle instead of down here or up there. I don't know about going forward with this. It is super cute. For some reason, I just find myself to, I don't really sit with this and stitch with this for like days and days. It's usually just 1 or 2 days, and then I don't know. Yeah, so but this one is definitely not a rush. I don't have a rush on anything, but there are some projects that of course, like I said, I want to make progress on. This one is not one of those. I just have fun with it. Like I said, I enjoy their faces, the super cute faces. But then if I just stitch on it for like half a day, like maybe just 50 stitches at a time, that's fine. I'm happy with that. This one also comes with a lot of specialty stitches later as a finish. Yes, there's back stitching like I did with the butterfly, but there's also quoting and couching. And if you have followed me and see, I will show you my finish later. You know that quoting and couching is, I don't like it at all. There's not that much quoting and couching in this one though, I think. Yeah. There might be some French knots in here too. I don't know. I thought that I hated French knots. I don't. I hate couching more. Oh, sorry, but it's the truth. Yeah, I don't know why couching is such a terrible thing for me. I don't like it at all. So I don't know, maybe that's why I'm sort of procrastinating a little bit with this one, because I know what's coming later. But I mean, so far so good, and this is like a small one, so I could definitely, if I put my back into it, I could definitely finish this next year, but I kind of don't, and I don't mind it. It will keep me company for another few years, if that is what it takes. But Kitty Litter from Dimension School Collection, 18 count Ada, and they have their own floss dimensions with their own color numbers, and it's a beautiful floss. It's really, really great to work with. It reminds me in quality of Ada. No, not Ada, sorry. God, I'm getting loopy. Not Ada, it's DMC and Anchor. That is what I'm going to say. So the quality and the feel of it. So yeah. Let's move on to my other Dimension School collection. This one it's actually easier for me to make progress on. Not so many specialty stitches and stuff. This is going to be mostly back stitching when it's done. This is called Wreath of All Seasons, and I absolutely adore this one. I think it is looking so good stitched up. I've been talking a little bit about the back stitching, and there's in the chart there's a lot of back stitching, but I will not do all of it actually, because some of them I'm not sure if they're gonna show up and give as much details as you want, and I'm not sure also that I want to have as much details as you want, because sometimes to give it dimensions also you don't have to outline everything. Sometimes you can just pick stuff that you feel like are more in the foreground and make them sort of a little bit more of a focus, and then that can also bring more depth. Like up here, for instance, I feel like this one is more in the foreground because it's in front of the cherries. So here I might do the back stitches, but I might not do that on the cherries. I'm gonna try and see what happens and see how I like it. There's also, like, for this is like a seed packet, I think, or something. There's a writing on here, so here I will do the back stitching because this is it's meant to be with the writing on it, so that I think will be nice. And also I do want to do back stitching so you can see the eggs in here clearly. But like I said, I think pretty much everything is just outlined with back stitching on this chart, and yeah, I am not going to do all of it. Again, I find this easier to pick up more so than the kitty litter, but again, I don't normally spend like more than 1 or 2 days in a row on this one. So it's progress, but it's a little bit slower maybe. There's a lot of colors in here, which is why it's so gorgeous, I think. But it also can be it's a slower stitch when there's a lot of colors, like confetti stitching and all of that. But it is enjoyable, and the charts I think for Dimensions Gold are just perfectly fine. I mean, they're easy to follow and all of that, so that is not a problem. The problem is all the stitching after you're done with the stitching. And again, some people don't stitch the letters. They don't like the writing, and that's fine. You can just stitch it without it if you want to. I like them partly because it's like, this is one of my favorite colors, the sage green thingy. I really like it. Did I say October 3rd, 2023 I started this 18 count Ada, the Rome Floss Dimensions Gold collection, and it will be finished when it will be finished. But yeah, every time I take this out to show you, I think it looks really, really good. Yeah. But yeah, again, for some reason, the Dimensions Gold, I don't spend several days on it, as I can do with Marika. For some reason, their charts and how they are, I don't know, I can spend more days in a row on a Marika kit, more than I can on a Dimensions Gold, for whatever reason. So the 2 Dimensions Gold collection kits, I like them both, and I will continue stitching on these however long it will take. And then we have the Marikas, and these are definitely all of them potential focus pieces, because I love them so much. So much fun. Love their charts. I kind of love everything about them. They have 2 pages, so they have 1 page with just the cross stitching and 1 page with the cross stitch and the back stitching. So you can do both, which is actually I like, because that is one problem with the Dimension Scope collection also, is that they have only the one page. So sometimes when the back stitching can like cover symbols, so sometimes it's hard. You can normally figure it out, but with the Marika kits, you don't even have to do the guesswork. You can just choose the page first with all the cross stitch on it, stitch away, and then flip the page, and then you have the back stitching over. So I like that about them. Let's start with this one. This is the sampler seasons, and I have talked a little bit more in detail about these in a Sunday edition. They come with 2 fabrics. There's one main, I would say, fabric. It looks a little bit like this, and then you stitch the smaller images on a separate fabric. You cut them out, and then you stitch them on here in the frames. So there are 1, 2 small, there's one a little bit bigger, and then the biggest one is in the middle. So I find that super fun. Actually, it's a good idea, because you get like multiple WIPs in one. You get this one, and then you get separate images in the smaller one. So yeah, I really like that. I also love the details. There are so many colors in here. So the flowers, I think, are showing up real nice, and same with the greens, the leaves and all of that. I'm stitching this with 2/1, even though some stitches are meant to be 1, I think, over 1. But for these season samplers, I decided to do 2/1, because I thought it would. I actually thought that it looked nicer to do it that way. And then we'll just see what happens. I mean, the Marika kits use DMC, and DMC I have extras. So if I run out, it will be easy to find a match among my other threads. And I know that, yes, from color batch to color batch, sometimes it can vary in nuance, but when you have this, not so much. Also, when you have several different images that are separate, you can try to then use the kit thread in one image, and if you know that you're going to run out, try to keep the old thread in one image and then switch to the new one in the other image. Then you won't notice if there are changes from batch to batch within the color. So that is why I'm not stressing out so much about that in these type of sampler styles, because I think it's different if it's just one solid picture and suddenly you have like a pink, and it's the same color but it's different color batch, and it's slightly off, it's slightly warmer or slightly colder, then yeah, that might look funny, you know. But this is not the case, because I know that I have enough of the DMC for the background, so all of this will be the same. And then when I come to the smaller images, for instance, I can complete this probably with all the kit floss, this maybe with all the kit floss, and if I notice that I'm running out, I will make a judgment call and see if I can have all the kit floss to this one or to this one, and then maybe stitch one or the other with all the kit floss, and then the other with all the new floss. So I think that will work out quite all right. So I probably wouldn't do that if I would be stitching, like I said, a more like one solid piece, because then it will be more noticeable. But anyways, these Marikas are all stitched on a 16 count Aida. There are some blends, there will be some back stitching, and again some 10 stitching that I have chosen not to do. I do full cross instead. I think that in the image here in the middle, I actually think that there's going to be some more tent stitch, and in those smaller images I will do as the chart says to do. It's just in this background piece that I am doing 2/2 no matter what, full cross. So, and that is also to give it a little bit more of a variation from the background or main piece to the smaller images. I started this March 6, 2024. And I do stitch these within season. So the spring sampler I stitch during spring. Although this is a potential focus piece actually for next year. Maybe, because I am getting close to finish the background and I am getting ready to start the smaller ones. And the smaller ones might stitch up quite fast because there's a lot more tent stitch in or half cross stitch in the smaller ones. But we'll see. This is a potential focus piece. So this might be a finish for next year. So we can just continue through the seasons then into summer. Marika, 16 count, DMC, 2 fabrics. I am always starting with the main fabric or the bigger fabric, and I am doing the background here 2/2, even though the chart says to do 1 thread at times. But again, DMC floss. And these colors are so nice. I really enjoy it. This is beautiful, I think. And again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 smaller images. So I will just make a calculation about how to do it. If I need more floss from my stash of DMC, I will try to match them up to every one of the smaller images, because this one will definitely, I have enough to do 2/1 on the whole thing for this piece. So this one I started June 10th in 2024. And this is not a focus piece necessarily for next year. Might be, depending on how far I get on all the other ones that I have. Let's do autumn or fall. Again, 2 pieces of fabric. I start with the bottom one. I stitch on this during fall, and these colors are really pretty. 16 count DMC. Started September 13th, 2024. Full cross, 2/1 on the background, and again there are 4 additional smaller images that are stitched on another fabric. And again, I will, if I have to, pick out floss from my DMC stash to complete the smaller images. And then there's the winter one. Again, really nice colors for the flowers. I started this November 20th in 2024. And this one, I don't think I've stitched on this year. So this might be, oh yeah, I have a couple of winter projects that I am really eager to pick up in January. This is definitely one of them. I really enjoy these. I think they're so much fun. And this one is 3 smaller images. No, 4. There's a pine cone. Okay, good. yeah, it's good with these WIP-parades also, because you do get reminded of the all the projects that you have, and that you know, yeah. Okay, I almost, well, haven't really, but almost forgotten about this, because I was planning or thinking a little bit about what to stitch on in January. I have the hate cell, I have the Christmas tree of wishes, which is still my focus piece, and then I wanted to pick up some more of the winter ones. This one, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait to stitch on that one. Okay, so, oh, speaking of winter, this is another one that I restarted. I frogged and restarted this one, because this is the one that I also started actually doing full crosses with 2 or 2 over the whole thing, and then I didn't like it because it didn't give that more delicate variation with having like the background in 10 stitch with 1 thread, and then having the foreground or the silhouette of the houses with full crosses 2 over 1. So I did frog and I did restart, and I'm super happy I did, because I don't know if you can see on camera, but for me, yeah, it definitely shows when you have the 10 stitch in the background between the branches, and then you have the tree in full cross. And it just gives a little bit more of a dimension or more detail to it. So I'm glad I started over. It took quite a while to frog. It took several days to frog though, even though I think I stitched, actually I think I had stitched on the sky and a bit over down here, and that took quite a while actually, but once it was done and I could restart, it was yeah, it's lovely. Yep. This one started November 20th in 2024. DMC 16 count Ada. I'm loving it. So yeah, another one to stitch on in January here. This project or kit is called Sweet Pea. I'm stitching this because my grandmother, that was her favorite flower, my grandmother on my mother's side. This one I started from the middle for some reason. Don't ask me why, but I just felt like it. And yeah. And this one, I'm definitely taking my time on this one. I am in no hurry to finish this at all. I enjoy having it, and yeah. Yes, she had these, the sweet peas. She had these in her garden. I started this April 12th, 2024. And it's a small one, so yes, I could, again, if I put my back into it, I could definitely finish this soon, but I don't want to. This is the one that I am really savoring doing just a little bit every time. Yeah. So Sweet Pea from Marika, super nice, sweet little kit. I will stitch on it a little bit in June, I think. And here, oh yeah, this one is really, really nice. Cafe in Verona. This is a potential focus piece because I love this so much. This is so much fun. Started May 8th, I think. 2024, in May 2024, in the beginning of May, I think. Yeah, I like it because of the different colors. Because whenever you are looking at the scenery from a city with the different, there's I don't know, different. I mean, it's not different textures because you're stitching with the same thread, but it feels different when you're stitching like this wall up here has a different feel to it, rather than having the this front of store down here. There will be streets, there will be, yeah, so many different elements. So I enjoy that so much. And this is extra fun actually to stitch on. So this is a potential focus piece for next year, depending on again how the whip down is going. But a lot of fun. And yes, this one too, 16 count DMC. And I think, yeah, that's it for the Mareka kits, the Dimensions Gold. I will show you the finishes. I have one finish from this year. I will show you that at the end of this WIP-parade, actually, I think. So Lena Ova is a shop on Etsy. It has become one of my favorite stores, actually. They have some really lovely charts that I have been buying. I am stitching on 3 of them, and I have a couple more lined up that I want to start. But again, whipping down, so I'm not allowed to start any new ones before I finish these ones. So let's just start with this one, because that was the first one I grabbed from the bag. This is Dracula sampler. I'm stitching this on an 18 count Ada, 1 thread over 1 square, and it's hand dyed thread from a store on Etsy. I don't know if you can see that, dyeing for cross stitch. A lot of really, really nice floss. Sadly, they don't ship to Sweden anymore, so yeah, I'm a little bit bummed over that, but what can you do? Yeah, I mean, as you can see, the chart is wonderful. It is really, really nice, and the thread is gorgeous also. I started this November 24th in 2024, and I have to finish this one and another one of Lena Ova's before I can start another Lena Ova. And the one that I have going, well, that I have sort of next in line would be the Mary Poppins one, because I really like that one. But I also recently bought the Winnie the Pooh sampler, and it was, yeah, it's adorable. So we'll see, one of those probably. I have the Beauty and the Beast one and the Nutcracker one, so so actually quite affordable, these charts. They also have a sale on quite often, so you can get them for a really good price. So keep your eyes open and yeah, shop around. They do have some from Lord of the Rings, I think, and Jane Austen, so a little bit of mix and match. It's yeah, it's a really nice store, and like I said, the charts are really great. So that was the Dracula one. The first one I started, yes, was the Cinderella one, and let me show you. It looks like this. So I am doing the border first on this one. The thread that I'm using here is a thread from Moonland Designs on Etsy. It is so pretty. It is so nice. I'm just not sure that I have enough for the whole thing. But this does have a few images like in the middle. And one of those, or maybe several, I don't know, I haven't really planned it out yet. I can do with a solid color, like a solid sage green or a solid pale pink, for instance. So I'm thinking about doing that, but so I want to complete the border first and then just go to see how many skeins I have left and make a plan for the rest of it. So it will definitely work itself out. That's not an issue. So I'm not worried about that. I like these a lot. I started this one. I started September 11th in 2024. So yeah, another 2024 start. And I also started. Stitched on an 18 count Ada, if I didn't mention it. 1/1 square with a floss from Moulin Design on Etsy. And this is the Alice in Wonderland, also stitched on an 18 count. This one, I'm not as far along. There's a lot of borders. If you don't like borders, then this might not be the chart for you. But I like it a lot. And this floss again, same company. Super good customer service also on this shop. They were really quick to answer my email, and she just dyed the floss that I needed over the weekend, and I had it like she could ship it out just like a couple of days after. So yeah, like I said, they don't ship to Sweden. Well, I haven't checked lately, but I don't they don't ship to Sweden anymore. Sadly no, but I can still recommend it for you who can get your hands on these. It's a very nice floss, super good customer service, and the colors and the different variation of color is superb, I think. So definitely check out this store. They are really good. Did I say I started this one in October 21st in 2024. So the Cinderella started in September, this one in October, and the Dracula one in November. But I actually enjoy stitching on the Dracula one the most. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's Dracula. I don't know. I feel inspired during Halloween, and I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I kind of am into a little bit the vampire movies and stuff. But so these are the Lena Ova ones that I have going right now. And like I said, I have a few more already loaded in Pattern Keeper. So whenever I finish, first of all, I want to finish the Dracula one and the Cinderella one, and then start whichever one. I need to make my mind up though. So let's do that for now and move on. Yeah, so let's do this one, because this will be my primary focus piece for spring. Right now, like I said, it's Christmas tree of wishes, but then I will return to this one because this was my focus piece before. Spring Flowers from Luca S. This is also another lovely chart. It is really pretty. It's a smaller one and it's not full coverage, so this will definitely be able to finish this one next year. But for now, I'm focusing on the winter theme, so this one will probably, well, depending on my mood. Let's just not decide anything. We're probably not earlier than February, though, I think. But then the goal is to finish this one, and then maybe focus on either a spring sampler or maybe Cafe in Verona or maybe Pandemic as the next focus piece after this one. But this one is super pretty, I think. Not a lot of back stitching, none at all, in fact, in the flowers. It's just the smaller stems in here in the forget-me-nots and a little bit in the bumblebee. There's another bumblebee on this side, and a little bit of forget-me-nots, but then that's it. That's all the back stitching. So not a lot left on this one. Let me see. It is stitched on a 16 count Ada, and the Lucas one, they use anchor floss. I started this in July 23, no, 19th in 2023. And this is my first Lucas kit, actually. I did have it in my stash for quite a few years before I picked this one up. I'm glad I did. And again, actually, I'm quite fascinated every time I pick this one out and look at it, how, I mean, the bird is stunning. And when you think about it, it's not that many stitches, but they managed to really plan out the colors to get the exact, so it looks really detailed. So it doesn't need any back stitching because it's so well charted, I think. Yeah, anyways, it's gorgeous, I think. So focus piece, this will pop up in a couple of months, and I will finish this. Whatever happens, I will finish this one in 2026. That is a promise. Even though it takes me the whole year, I will finish this one in 2026. Yeah, hopefully it's not going to take me too long, but anyways. What else do we have? Oh, we have, yeah. Let me see. Okay, so this one is a project that, again, that I'm falling a little bit behind, I would say. I kind of forget a bit about it. But it's a fun one. It's a Caroline Manning Designs. It's called Barn Dance or Barn Dance. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty and it's fun. It's quite relaxing to stitch. Because it's, I mean, it's the same shapes all over. Yeah, so if you're looking for something relaxing, and again, I mentioned this before, but this is probably one that you wouldn't need to grid because you just count. And when I mean, you will notice fairly quickly if you're off by one stitch or not. But I just did the gridding because that is what I'm used to. And it kind of helps me a little bit, but yeah, anyways. This one I forget about all the time that I have. And I think, yeah, I think it might be because the reason I started it was just to have something to just be able to turn my brain off a little bit and just relax and not to think about it. I didn't necessarily choose it because I love the pattern. But I do. I mean, the pattern is nice. It's really, really clever how they planned out the colors and all of that. But it was mainly chosen for just to try out because I've seen other floss tubers stitch her designs or their designs, and yeah, I just wanted to try it out, and it is relaxing. But again, since it wasn't really primarily focused on the artwork itself, I do tend to forget about it. Is this a 16 count? Yeah, I think this is a 16 count. CXC floss. I started it in August in 2023, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna bring it with me in my rotation. It's probably not gonna be priority. If I remember to bring it out, I will. But I mean, I don't dislike it. I like it. I like to stitch on it. But again, I have a little bit too many projects, too many WIPs for me. So that is why I think I am sort of neglecting this one. because I don't think I've been stitching on it at all, have I, this year? Don't think so. But I don't want to give up on it because I enjoy it. It's a very pretty pattern. It's a really nice chart. So yeah, I'm not going to give up on it. But bundles from Carolyn Manning Designs. Oh yes, here's the other, actually the winter projects that I wanted to really pick up now in January. This is called Holiday at Seaside. It's from Lady Stitch. And it's a bigger one, and I haven't touched it this year yet. So I'm, oops, sorry, I did knock the cord. So I'm this, I don't know if you've seen, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful chart. Again, it's just, I have too many WIPs. Look at that. I think it's lovely. I think it's really beautiful. Lady Stitch also, it's Luca S and Lady Stitch. They belong together somehow. I don't know if it's Lady Stitch that is the main company and Luca S is part of it, or if it is the other way around. It's something like that. Anyways, Lady Stitch also use Anchor Floss, and Anchor Floss is now bought up by DMC, I think. Happened a while ago, I know. So I don't know the deal about that, but it's Anchor Floss. 16 count Ada, and this is, I don't know, can you tell? Pre-gridded, which is both nice and not. I'm not super comfortable because I'm just not used to pre-gridded fabric. So I do find it a little bit awkward at times. But I mean, it's helpful. You can just get stitching straight away. So I like that. This chart is humongous because he printed it out on, I'm not going to show you the chart, but I can show you the pages. It's like a lot, okay? So this is one set of pages, and here's the other one. So as you can see, it's a lot, and it's because like Marika, they do the cross stitching on one set, and then the back stitching on another set, so you get like twice. So it's double the amount of paper, which is, I mean, you do like it when you are stitching, but it's a little bit of a hassle because the sheets are kind of big. But it's all right. It's a little bit of beading. There's going to be some beads in the Christmas tree here. Not a lot, but a little bit throughout the whole thing. And it is sort of a bigger one, this one. So that is again why I'm not rushing this, is because I know this is gonna be with me for a while, and I'm looking forward to it because I think the charting is really, really good. See the details in the trees. Yeah, it's really pretty. So yeah, so this is definitely a piece for January. So now I have the winter sampler, I have this one. Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm looking forward to it. Let's see, what else do we have in one of my favorite bags? I have, oh yes, this is this one. It's called 3 Angels. This is artwork by Yvonne Gilbert, I think. And I'm stitching this with floss that I have repurposed or recycled from some kits that I bought very early on in my stitching journey. And I would say not so good kit when it comes to quality or the artwork. So I won't be stitching those. I have gotten rid of the charts, but the floss I did want to save anyways, because it's a waste, I thought, just to throw away all the floss. I hate this floss, by the way. I talked about this before. It's really an awful floss. Again, this is why I'm not picking up more often. I love the pattern. I love the chart and the artwork. It's really, really nice. But the floss is horrible. And again, I've never experienced a floss like this, because to me this is like sticky. It is like if you put in just one leg of the cross, and then you're going to, if you're going to frog just that one leg, it's going to be difficult, because I don't know, there's some quality to this, and you can't feel it when you're just touching it like this, but when you're stitching it and when you're trying to separate the threads, there's something that is, I don't know, it's just sticking to. It's super hard to work with if you make a mistake, or when you are parking like this. Can be so hard to just separate the threads for, I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this thread. I mean, once it's stitched, it looks great. You know, it's just a little bit tricky to work with, but I do want to finish it because the artwork is beautiful. So we'll see. Again, a definite candidate for the January stitching here. Yeah, we'll see. It depends a little bit about also if we do get the chart from the hate sale. If we get it a little bit in advance, I am going to start that one as soon as possible. But until then, this might actually be a potential, because I am definitely in a stitching mode right now. So I'm motivated, and I'm motivating to stitch on this, which makes so I might tolerate the thread. Yeah, it's sticking to the fabric also. And actually I switched out the fabric because I think I had another count. It didn't look good. And this fabric is totally fine. I mean, this is an Ada that I'm using for other projects with different floss, with the silk floss, with dyeing for cross-stitch floss and CXC floss. This is the only thread that sort of sticks to the fabric. I don't know. When you drag it, you can feel it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm not. Stop complaining. Yeah. But yeah, right now I do feel kind of motivated, so I might actually tackle this one pretty soon. Because like I said, I do want to finish this. This is super, super pretty. Yeah. And it's not, I mean, it's big-ish. It's not super big, but it's big enough to make it kind of a hassle with this type of thread. But I also think it's worth it, because just throwing this away wouldn't make any sense. It's just a waste of stuff. And this is probably, I mean, this is not 100% cotton, so throwing it out would be not good. I think it's better to use it. So yeah, I am going to stay with this. I am going to stitch on this. Yeah. I started this in November 12th in 2023. And the reason why I haven't made more progress on this, I love it a lot, is just because, like I said, with this floss, it takes focus and a little bit of patience with this. So this is more slow going. But I think it will be worth it when I'm done. Yeah. So anyways, let's put that to the side for now. And yeah, let's pull out some of my other stuff. All right, so maybe start with my current focus piece, which is called Christmas Tree of Wishes, and it's from a company called Momentos magical moments or moments of magic. And it's a lovely, lovely piece. As you can see, I have almost finished the centerpiece, the Christmas tree here. So I keep filling this in. There will be a little bit of beading in the Christmas tree here as Christmas ornaments, and there's some back stitching. This is stitched on a 16 count Ada. I'm using the kit floss, and I did start this in November 26th in 2022. And this is definitely a seasonal one, so I only stitch on this pretty much in December and maybe once or twice in January, but it doesn't get like a lot of days every year, which is why I chose it as a focus piece this year, just to make a little bit more progress, because this is a lovely, lovely, lovely kit. The chart is I like it. I think it's excellent, and the floss is nice. It must be some sort of DMC anchor, or like the Dimensions Gold. I don't know. It's a good floss. Really nice to work with. There are some color blends, and yeah, it is really, really nice. I can highly recommend this kit. It is super pretty, and I think you can see it is stitching up really nicely. It's a lot of fun. So I will be working on this at least. We have a few days left in December. So I will try to spend at least a couple of more days on it, finish the Christmas tree, and then maybe start completing here to work down to, this is a horse with a carriage, or what do you call it, sled. We'll see how far I get, but I definitely want to finish the Christmas tree. And as I mentioned just recently, just now, is the other winter themed projects. I do want to get a chance to stitch a little bit on these. And then of course also from January 1st we do have the hate sale, and sometimes I do send it out a little bit early, which is nice, especially considering we are stitchers all over the world, so with the different time zones and stuff like that, it is good to have the chart. And if you want to start early, you can, but if you also want to start on January 1st, you don't have to wait. You can just do it whenever you feel like it on January 1st. So we'll see. I mean, they're not obligated to send it out early, of course. But if they do, yeah, I'm definitely going to start on that. So we'll see. I'm still planning to, like I said, complete the Christmas tree. And once I've done that, we'll see where we're at in the calendar with the hate sale and with the other winter projects. But yeah, really liking this one. This is a fun, really fun and pretty little thing. I can do this one. This one I did bring out a couple of times this year. It's called Frid på jorden, which is a Swedish title for Peace on Earth. This is made by Slöjden, which is an organization to preserve Swedish handicraft, all of that. Yeah, this is a big one. It is stitched on a 26 count linen, and yeah, I'm working my way. I have worked my way down here, and I think this is a really, really, really beautiful chart. Yeah, this is also not stitched with like a regular, like the DMC that has 6 threads in one. This is just a cotton thread. It is, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it is just the one. And I stitched this 1/2 on the 26 count linen. Yeah, it is a fun one. The chart is the printing is kind of small. I don't have a problem actually, but if you do have a little bit of trouble with your eyesight, you might, when you order this, you might want to find a printer shop maybe to help you enlarge it, because it's small, it's super small. I use like the magnetic ruler and stuff like that to really keep track of the lines. I don't find it that difficult, so yeah. But like I said, if you do have problems with your vision, then you can stitch this, but you need to enlarge the chart, I'd say. And again, I might not be picking this one up now until the next Christmas, because I do have the other winter ones, and I do have the 3 angels with that floss that I need to work on also. Well, need to. I want to. I actually want to, in spite of the floss. But I'm happy with the progress that I made on this. It is fun. Once you pick this one up and start stitching, it goes really, really fast. So yeah. But like you can see, it's a big one, so I am in no rush to finish it. And what is this? Sorry. Oh yeah, I actually, that one, the Swedish one, I started this in July 2024, for Christmas in July, that I did last year, that I didn't do this year, and I won't do next year, I think. So yeah, July 2024, yeah. Okay, move on to my very first memorabilia, Lady Alexandra. And yeah, super happy again about this one. It will be interesting to see with the beading, what it will look like once it's done. And again, I mentioned this before too, some people do 1/1 for skin tones. I didn't want to do that. I'm actually happy with how it is turning out anyways. But yeah, I do understand why they would do that, but yeah, it wasn't, and also because this is my first memorabilia, I just didn't want to sort of be too creative. I just want to follow the chart. I want to do the beading and see what it looks like and if I'm happy with it. I have kitted up for a couple of more memorabilia because I am enjoying this. I am sort of taking pictures of the chart and moving it into a notes taking app, so you can mark off the stitches there. I just have to be smarter with how I take my photos, because I think that for this one right now, they are in, I don't know what kind of order they are in, but now I know, till next time. But like I said, I do like it. There are no specialty threads in this one. I use CXD, the chart's a DMC, but it's just DMC, which is why I also wanted to start with this one. So I'm actually glad that I did. So I only had to focus on the stitching and the beading, and not worry about the metallic threads or the all the other type of threads. Anyways, hang on. 32 count linen, started February 4th in 2024. So again, I have the Raven Queen one, and I actually have the, is it the Cherry Blossom one? So we'll see. This is actually also a potential finish for 2026 in my goal to whip down. We'll see what happens with that one. Do I do... Yes, I can do this one. This one is a Christmas one that I am in no mood at all, actually. Stitch on, I'm sorry. It is called Edwardian Christmas, and this is all I've done. I haven't really felt like picking this one up. I think it's because it reminds me a little bit like the dancing party. And for some reason, I just haven't been feeling it. So I thought, let's not force myself, because then I will definitely not be picking this one up at all in the future. So I just, give myself permission not to want to stitch on something and then not do it. So that is progress. But I will, keep it in my rotation and see if I want to pick it up for next Christmas, maybe, because it's lovely. I think the image is lovely, and it should be a fun stitch once I get into it. Sometimes when I start something, and I started this also for Christmas in July 14th in 2024, and sometimes when I start something, it can take me a while to just get into sort of the groove, if that makes sense. And this one is taking a little bit of a time for me to do that. But I think if I just have a little bit of patience, and the more I get into it, the more I will, sort of feel it and get into the flow of it. So it's a balance, having patience and not stitch if you don't want to, but also do continue to stitch, because you will get into it and you will like this project more and more. And I know I will. But for now, patience, leave it be, and keep it in the rotation, so I'm not giving up on it at all. I will pick this one up next year, next Christmas. Or if I do Christmas in July, but I don't think so. I'm not planning to, but who knows. So these are my Realist kits. I have only 2 going for now. And Realist is also like one of those, they use the wool acrylic, and this one they also use the anchor floss. They use different number of threads to create dimension, to create detail, to create color variation, and it is working pretty well. I think very well. I have done several of the Realist ones, and I do like them. The wool acrylic floss does take a little bit of getting used to. It behaves a little bit differently than, of course, the anchor floss. But the coverage with the wool acrylic is awesome. So this is called Carnation Lily Rose. It is stitched on a 14 count Ada, and like I said, wool acrylic, blend floss, and the anchor floss. I started this May 21st in 2024, and this is definitely a summer project for me. So this will be resting a bit. And yeah, this one I'm jumping a little bit back and forth with this. I haven't been so structured. I don't know if this has anything to do with because it's different type of quality of floss or whatever, but yeah. just going by intuition, I'm guessing. The chart for areolas, they have great charts, and they can be a little bit big, so you have to refold them. Just don't fold them over the stitch, but in between the lines, so you don't lose the symbols. But they usually or mostly use colors, so it's not really a big deal, but just in case. Yeah, they also don't do massive, well, they might do, but most of them, or most of the reolists that I see, they are not massive. They are actually pretty reasonable in size, which is why you can finish them fairly easy or soon within a reasonable time frame. This reolist kit is the vintage. I think it's vintage because the whole thing is, they don't look like this anymore, or maybe it's just a country thing. They come in little bundles like these. I did sort them. I did number them, and yeah, because they come with this, so all the bundles was just together, and then you have to match, which I did, and I put them on rings, binder rings like this, and numbered them from this chart. Yeah, the problem with this, or the problem, it's not actually a problem, but well, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, I would say, would be how to work with the floss itself on these. So I chose to do this. Now, I have been cutting these, actually. Not all of them yet, or have I? No. Yeah, okay, so I did, because they are on like a big skein. So what I did is I just cut them in half. I have them on, and I can just pull one thread at a time, because otherwise you end up with this, and you have to unwind the thread and everything like that. So I did start doing that, but I sort of got really annoyed with it. So that is why I've ended up cutting them in half and putting it on like this instead. I've started doing that. I haven't done it with all of the colors, as you can see. So we'll see how I will move forward. I might take them off these rings, because again, there's a lot of stuff on here. But this wool acrylic floss is a little bit more bulky, so they don't all necessarily fit in the holes here. Well, anyways, once you get started on this one, it is actually a lot of fun. One good thing about this chart also is that they actually left one blank line where the paper folds. So when I was talking about refolding on the modern kits, don't fold like over the square, the cross. You don't have to worry about that on the older ones, because they are actually left that line empty. So you have like 4 separate charts, because they fold in the middle and then in the middle, but you don't lose any of the symbols or any of the charts in the folds, which is kind of neat, actually. So here we are. I am not crazy about this Ada though. It is 14 count Ada, and there are double thread full cross, double thread half cross, single thread half cross. I don't know if there is any single thread full cross, not yet. But as you can see, it's not, I mean, there's kind of blocks of color, more like it. There will be more details in the building. This again is another actually focus piece, even though I haven't done that much on it. But just because it's so much fun to stitch on it, it stitches up really fast. even though, like I said, I'm not crazy about this Ada, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. This is also really good to switch up between, because this is totally different feel from the Hades and the 25 count and 1/1. So this is also a good alternative to, like I said, switch things up with. Did I say I started this August 17th in 2024? And in the beginning, the thing that took me most of the time was just figuring out the floss and sorting them and just deciding, should I wind, should I cut? I wasn't really happy about this because this is like just a giant mess. But once you get past that, I would say it's super fun. But again, I feel like it is called, well, the translation is Venice Saint Mark's Square. I don't know the original title, but it's what I'm calling it. And I think also I did ask someone, and someone said that the translation was something like that. So that is what I'm calling it anyways. Yeah, but what was I? Yeah, but it's yeah. Once you get past that, it is actually fun to stitch with. So I'm glad I bought it. It's a quite it's a little bit of a new experience, but it's fun though. So there's that. Did I have anything else here? No. So I'm gonna bring out the last of them. I have a few more just. Okay, so one final push here. Yeah, I didn't think it would be this much to talk about. I only have, but 40 WIPs, and I know people who have more, but here we are. I will start with I will start with this one. It is called Renya's Sampler. It's from Cozy Stitch Design. I bought it from Etsy. The shop is no longer on Etsy. I think they have, if it's the same company, I don't know, but I think they have their own website now. I couldn't find this pattern there though, but yeah, I don't know, that might be someone else, but it's not on Etsy anymore. Renya's Sampler. This is my progress. I have started this and I have used this for Sampler September. So I just stitch on it for a little bit in September every year. And I did start this last year, 2024, the year of new starts, September 14th. I did like the colors. It felt a little bit autumny to me. So yeah, so I did stick by the color choice of the chart. I'm stitching this on an 80 count Ada 1/1. And this is Ada. I will talk about this a little bit more. I think it's a bit more expensive Ada. It is denser. I think it's a little bit better quality. And I do enjoy stitching on it 1/1. But 1/1 doesn't give, I think, good enough coverage for a full coverage piece. But I do think that 1/1 works really well on sampler styles like Lena Ovas that I stitch on an 80 count Ada, also with 1/1. I don't know, to me that works and it feels good, and the stitches are lying quite neatly on the fabric. So I like that, and I like that a lot. Like I said, started this in December last year. I'm using the CXC floss, and for this project, this type of Ada works really well, and I'm really happy about it. For the samplers, I did say, I said before, that I am going to sort of move them into my normal rotation of projects. But then, just like my heads, just have a month, maybe September, and focus on just samplers. But I'm not gonna not stitch on them during the rest of the year, if that makes sense. I have done so for this one and for another one of my samplers. But yeah, so this you might see a little bit more often from now on. And this fabric, it's the same that I started a project called Hobbiton. And this one needs to be stitched 2 over 1 square, because there are so many blends in this. All of these are blends. So this is a blend, this is a blend, this is a blend, yeah. So there are a lot of blended threads. So one option would be to do half cross 2 over 1 or 10th stitch 2 over 1. I didn't like the coverage actually. I don't know, it didn't feel right. So this one I will restart. I will restart this on a different quality of Aida. I think it will be the regular DMC one, which I prefer. Because in the beginning, and I think I said that, I didn't mind it so much. Because since this is dense, so the holes in here are small and really compact. So when you pull the thread through, the first one in an empty hole, no problem. But then you have to go back and then, yeah, because you are going up like 4 times in the same one. So you begin to pull, and you have to pull quite hard on each stitch. And in the beginning it wasn't a problem. I thought that no, I'm gonna not have a problem with this. But then as you continue, and then you think this is also quite a big one. So I thought no, it's gonna be a struggle the whole way through, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to struggle. So that is why I have not been picking this one up more often also. So what I am going to do is, I have more fabric. I ordered more fabric. So I'm just going to start over. I might frog this at one point, but for now I'm just going to leave it. I'm definitely going to use this fabric for more samplers when I stitch 1 over 1. It is perfect for that. I really like that. And there's a lot of it, so I can stitch a lot of, I have a lot of smaller sampler style that this would be perfect for. So the fabric is going to be used, and the thread might be frogged, or it might not be actually. It depends on my mood and if I really want to spend that time doing that. So that is the plan. Hobbiton will definitely be started next year, sometime restarted, I would say, next year. So it's definitely in my rotation. I'm just bummed that I didn't, and that I was so stubborn. I should have given up faster. But you know, it is what it is. I have all the blends ready. It's not like this is not all the threads that is required for this blend, but I did want to prepare all the blends first and then just see where we end up. But yeah, so as you can see, these are just the blends. The rest of them I'm just gonna, the solid colors, I'm just gonna take from my, of course, master set of CXC. But I wanted to prepare them just to see what they look like and what I have. So it's ready to go. I just need to grid the new fabric, so that's all. So restart Hobbiton 2026. Yes, here we are. I thought I was missing some. Yeah. And this is called Sampler 79. It's what it's called. It's from a store on Etsy called 2x2 Stitch Art. I'm stitching this with 2 colors. You can of course stitch it with just 1 color. I did start this September 5th, 2024 as part of Sampler September. Yeah, I haven't stitched that much on it this year. I did start this section, I think. And again, I will have this in my normal rotation, but then focus on it or my samplers a little bit more in September. The thread that I'm using is also CXC, the 2 label ones, and she had a sale. So I bought like a box. So I have a lot of them, a lot of the skeins, and yeah, so these will definitely feature in other samplers too. So I do try to buy. There's a store on Etsy called Object Book or Books, and she sometimes, I think when she's restocking or something, she has these sales when you can buy the whole box when she needs to empty her storage, and that is why when I buy the full box of colors. And that can be quite fun because, like I said, you can use them for samplers. And just add them, of course, to your master set if you want to. But these are very affordable, and I think good quality. I like stitching with them, and for all the years that I have been using CXC, I have just once or twice experienced breakage when a thread will just break on you. And that is just once, and it didn't happen. I mean, sometimes you get a whole skein that there's something has happened, so that there's either some wear and tear, and then that whole skein might just break in the same place. Never happened to me. It's just it was one thread, one black one. I pulled and it broke. But like I said, just once. Never had a problem with this thread. I do know that there's a little bit of difference, I think, from CXC with 1 label and CXC with 2 labels, because they do specify. When you search for CXC thread, you can search for the 2 labels one, and they're still cheap, they're still affordable. And yeah, because I've heard people with CXC who said, oh, it keeps breaking on me, and I never experienced that with the 2 label ones, though I can recommend that. So if you want to try it, just make sure that there's 2 labels, and then you should be just fine. Yeah, okay, so let's move on from threads to my Halloween stuff, and these will be the last ones. So let's see. Oh yes, this is Halloween night, and also a restart. I had coverage issues, and yeah, I wasn't happy, so I restarted. I did try to frog a little bit, but it was not good. Let's see. Halloween night, I did buy this 18 count Ada, and I'm doing 2 over 1, and the coverage is actually quite nice, because I did try to do the 20 count 1 over 1, and then I tried 2, but then 2 I felt was too bulky, and yeah, it was the whole thing. So 18 count Ada, 2 or 1 square. I like that. It's called Halloween Night. It's from Tilton Craft. I started this October 9th in 2024 and restarted it this year. I don't know, probably sometime in October or September, I don't remember. But I'm happy because I love the coverage, and the feeling when I stitch it is so much better. I do enjoy this so much more, and so I'm happy that I bought the DMC Ada. So again, not too much then progress, but this is Halloween night, so I'm just gonna be stitching on this in well, September, I think. September, October. Well, October, of course, but the autumn month. So this is also not going to be finished anytime soon because it's semi-biggish, you know. But again, I'm happy that I restarted it. So I wasn't as stubborn with this one as I was with Hobbiton. I realized fairly soon. I did get some nice tips from some of you about going back over on the 20 count and make it double, and yeah, I decided to restart, and I'm happy that I did. Sometimes you just, you know, gotta cut your losses in a way. So Halloween night, I do enjoy it. It's a dark one, a lot of dark colors, and it feels very spooky. Yeah. Oh, and then we have this one. It's from Crochet Go. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think most of you know about this store on Etsy. Really, really cute stuff. It's called Paw Readings. No, it's not. It says Paw Readings. It's called Madame Fortune. I call it Paw Readings because that is what it says down here. But it's called Madame Fortune. There are a lot of kittens in here. There are a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just adding like one kitty at a time, pretty much. Just having fun with it. This is stitched on 32 count linen. CXC 2/2. I think I switched out the white. Yeah, I don't remember. I think I mentioned that in my... I would have to go back and look at the video from last year, because I started this in September 23rd in 2024. But I think I did switch out the white because there was something, either it was too bright or it wasn't white enough. I actually don't remember, but yeah, but like I said, I think this is super cute. The pattern, I couldn't get it into the pattern keeper, but it is like small, as you can see, and so I just work directly from the PDF, and that works just fine. Not too many colors, so it's not that confusing. And it's a fun little thing to just pick up and do a little bit at a time. I don't spend days on this. Like I said, I do one thing at a time. I think I did like the branches and the leaves, and then I have done like the smaller things here. I did the kitten or the cat here, and yeah. So I don't do a lot, just a little bit at a time. So, but I think it's fun. It's super cute. And again, like I call it paw reading, and I know it's not paw reading. I know it's Madame Fortune, but I can't help myself. So, anyways, let's move on to the last one then. So this is Halloween Party. It's from Tinsel Cross Stitch, a store on Etsy, and I didn't do much on this. I think this year. I think I did the stuff up here, maybe the hat. And this is also a variegated thread. It is from Mrs. Sada's silk floss, super nice to work with. Yeah, and this is like one of the super skeins, so to speak. As you can see, there's a lot of thread in the super skeins, so I will get more use from this one. Started October 2nd, 2024, 16 count Ada, 2/1 square. And again, for the Halloween ones, I stitch on them a little bit at a time, not putting, like I said, several days on it. I just, like one day, do a little bit here and there. So, yeah. Just enough to get in the Halloween mood, the spooky mood. And that would be my last WIP. 40 active WIPs right now. I will have 41 with a 2026 Haid Sal. And that is the only new start that I allow myself that is not part of the WIP down list. But like I said, 41 WIPs in total. Let me just put this away and I will come back and I will show you my 3 finishes for this year, and hoping I can make more finishes for next year. Stick around. So here we go. We'll start with this one. This is a Dimensions Gold collection. It is called The Finery of Nature. And it was, I was supposed to finish this. Well, supposed to. The plan was to finish this in 2024. But what happened? Well, the couching happened. Oh, the dreaded couching. And also the couching is done with a metallic thread on this project, and I absolutely had the worst time doing that. It was exhausting because, as you can see, there's a lot of cording and couching around the whole thing. So that took me so much more time than I thought. So this is why this is part of the WIP down, the 2025 year WIP down. Because I finished this on January 2nd in 2025 instead of December 2024, because the couching just, yeah, I just couldn't. It was awful, but I did endure and I pushed through and I did finish it, and I do love it. I mean, apart from the couching, okay, so my recommendation, if you ever want to do this, if you hate couching and if you hate metallic threads, don't use it. Don't use a metallic thread. You could easily do this without the metallic thread, of course. You could also, if you want to, don't do the couching. You could actually do this with just backstitching, actually. So I think if I would redo it, which I will not, I would do some sort of, maybe not backstitching, maybe chain stitching or something like that, instead of the couching, because that would have been so much faster for me anyways. But with that said, the stitching itself, the cross stitching with every square like this was sensational. I loved it so much. It was so much fun. Some color shifts, a little bit of confetti, not too much, some color blocks, but not too much. It was perfect. It was really, really nice. So I would stitch like 1/4 like this, 3 or 4 days. This was the longest because there was so much confetti in the nest. But again, 3 or 4 days, 4 days, maybe 4.5 on this quarter. So whenever I picked it up, I just wanted to stitch and stitch and stitch. It was so much fun. So that's why my calculations were a bit off, because I didn't consider even how much time the couching would take, and also how awful I would think that it was. So, love it though. I have talked a little bit about maybe making this into a cushion or a pillow or something. I don't know. I was just happy to be done with the couching, so I just put it aside and I haven't really thought about it anymore. It is stitched on a 14 count Ada. It's the dimensions, they're floss, of course, with the metallic thread. I started this in April 2023, and I then finished it, like I said, January 2nd in 2025. Apart from the couching with the metallic thread, I can recommend everything else. So just consider that. I mean, if you love couching, then go for it. And if you love metallic thread, again, go for it. But if I had to redo it, I would do some other type of stitching for these details instead. So that is my one finish for 2025. Let's move on to the second one, which is squirrels. This is a realist kit, and these are one of the smaller ones. I love these because they stitch up really fast. They are a lot of fun to stitch. They use wool acrylic blend, and they use both full crosses and half crosses. Full crosses with double thread, full crosses with single thread. There are some half crosses with 2 threads, and I think there are some half crosses with single threads. I just can't find them for now. Yeah, super fun, easy stitch. These realist kits are really affordable. I can highly recommend if you want like a little snack project. I started this November 11th, 2023. I did finish it March 10th, 2025. Now, it doesn't take that long to stitch it. It's just that when you pick it up just once in a while, yeah, it takes that long. But the stitching itself, I think, was barely 3 weeks, maybe. But like I said, it's a relaxing thing. It's just something to pick up once in a while. It's fun and fast. And like I said, once you get used to the wool acrylic floss, it just flies by. So there's one. And this is the third finish. And this was my first ever stamped kit. It is from a brand that I now know. I didn't then, but that I now know, called Mona Lisa. It is my first ever 11 count also. And I am surprised at how much I like it. Why am I surprised? Well, I wasn't sure about the details. 11 count can feel a little bit chunky to me. This is stitch 3 over 1 square, because 11 count, as you can see, big squares. However, I do think that they managed, from a distance at least, to get the color variation, to even get like the details in the mountains and all of that, in the sky. Yeah, so I like it. I also, again, it took a little bit of getting used to. I wasn't too crazy about it in the beginning, but once I stuck to it, I actually realized that it is so relaxing, because when you have the symbols on the fabric, you never have to look away. You can just look at the fabric and you never have to count because you have it marked up. So where it's 7 or 8 stitches, it doesn't matter to you. You don't have to count it because all of them are marked on the fabric. So again, once I got used to that, once I got used to 11 count and working 3/1, it was fun. It was relaxing, which is why I have invested in buying more of these. And I will start them, but I am waiting. I am waiting for myself to finish a few more so that I can start. I will talk about that more in the next video about my plans for 2026. I started this August 17th in 2022 and then finished it in March 29th, end of March in 2025. And like I said, it was a little bit of a resistance. If you did look at my videos back when I started it, you will notice that I was a little bit apprehensive. I wasn't crazy about it. But like I said, the more I got into it, the more I liked it. So, pre-stamped kits, not too bad. And this has taken more time than I thought it would. So thank you so much for hanging around. Yeah, I'm super happy with all my WIPs. I'm also super happy with my finishes. It was a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to, I don't know, continue my stitching journey and see what I can do with the whip down, with the Hate Sal, and with all of my other full coverage Hate pieces that I so want to stitch on. I will have another thing. I will try to sort stuff out for myself, and then I will try to communicate a little bit of that to you. If it is of interest, join me for the next Flosstube. If not, that's fine too. Also, we'll see if I have time to do another stitch with me. And maybe 3 angels if I can bear with the thread, the horrible thread. I do hope that you have had a really nice Christmas though, and I wish you a very happy new year. If you want to join me in the next video, please take care, stay safe. Bye for now.